Okay, before I hit this entire document, I'm going to give you some references of some YouTube channels, which is going to help you out to understand what it's like to grow and get the self-education. And how many people have the habit of reading books? What kind of books do you read? What kind of? Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Okay, and who else? So you think and grow rich. Good. You only think or you do work as well? Yeah, there are a lot of books by Napoleon Hill and so many other authors that even I read them. The reason why I asked you why book reading is important, or why reading books are important even in today's time where you people have graduated, educated and got these certificates, and then you are now qualified to become an employee or doing a job in a company. When you read a book, you are not just educating you're not just getting that education in your mind, but you're exercising in terms of your mind. So basically, in order to stay fit and active, you work out, you exercise, you jog, you run, you marathon, everything. But in today's world, a lot of humans, they have forgotten to maybe exercise in terms of their mind. So book reading is the actual exercise of mind. When you're reading books, you are mentally exercising, you're mentally growing, and you're learning a lot of things. So reading book is something which is very important. And a lot of people who do not read book, I have only one suggestion, is start reading books. I know it's very boring. I know I do also find it boring sometimes, most of the times, unless I haven't found something very interesting. But why book reading is so important, as I've already told you, book is a very important part of our life. Back in those days when we were in school and colleges, we read books, subjects basically. Books, these subjects that we read, it was because we were pressurized in that society, because we were in that education system, because if we did not, we would not get that grade A, B, C, we would not be qualifying for our semesters, or results would be pathetic, and so many other things. So we had that society that was built around us. If you do not read, if you do not learn, if you do not study, you're going to be punished from the society by all these, Sharma ji ka beta dekho. So all the time it was being said at that point of time that if you do not read, if you do not study, you're going to land up in trouble. So you made it. You made it because you were told so, that if you don't read, you're not going to land up in a good job, and you're not going to get it, you're not going to make it, your career will be spoiled, and so many other things. So because of that, you read it. You read those books, right? Why did you stop now? If I ask you these questions, why did you guys stop reading books now? Like, completely stopped it. If I ask you, you say, I don't read it. Even if you say I read it, that's like once in 5 months you read it, that's not reading. Reading is like every day. 30 minutes reading, or 50 minutes reading, or 1 hour reading, or 5-page reading, or 10-page reading. That's called reading. So when you say my hobbies are reading, it should mean like every day 30 minutes is my reading passion. So, why did you stop reading is my question. Give me a very frank answer that I would not have any, any of the opinion of mine, of course. So, give me a straight answer of why did you stop reading? Anyone? Why did you stop reading?
I still read.
Yes, you read. Okay.
Yeah, I read.
Why did you? Who does not read? Now see. Yeah. Why did you stop reading?
I just don't like reading.
You don't like
I don't
reading.
have the patience to read books.
You don't have the patience to read. Okay. And anybody else? Similar answer, right? Is it a similar answer? That you found it boring, lazy, no patience, and how would it result in something good? How would it result in me growing rich, or me growing financially strong? When you hear this book called Think and Grow Rich, it does not mean you just think and you don't work and you grow rich. It doesn't mean that. It means that you think the way a productive person has to think and grow rich. So why did you stop reading is my question, and the answer is simple to all of you guys. It's boring. it's I feel lazy. I don't feel like this is going to result in something productive. This is not going to result in some X amount of money. But the fact is, all the boring things in life, or all the productive things in life, are boring. All the things that will actually give you a result is boring. Is bodybuilding boring? Bodybuilding boring? Is going to the gym boring? Yes, it is. Yes, going to the gym is boring. If you have to go once in a week, it might be interesting. If you go once in a while, it's interesting. But if you have to go every day, it's boring. Waking up in the morning, going with that Keats or whatever you have, and going and jogging is boring, right? Every day, it's boring. Usain Bolt, who goes to the Olympics and he gets that gold medal, do you know the amount of hard work that he has to put in every day, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock? Not just workout. After workout, there are so many things that he does in discipline. He is in discipline throughout. Eating habit, not getting addicted to any kind of drugs maybe, or some kind of addiction that would hamper his health. That's also avoiding all these distractions. That's something which is a sacrifice in order to achieve his goals. Right, guys? So what I'm trying to explain to you is, everything is boring in life, but you have to understand, in long term, it will be resulting in something good. If you have given that amount of boring hours every day, it will result in something good. So yeah, boring. Book reading is boring. Gym going is boring. And anything that you feel is boring is actually the best part if you happen to give that everyday consistency. 5 years down the line, 2 years down the line, it's going to result in something big. Something big. It's like when I say, in school days, you started reading just because of all this pressure or parents or society in college and school. You read it because of all these forces, and then you graduated, and then you came, and then you didn't study. It's saying like, back in the year 2008, I used to work hard, I used to jog every day, and I had 6 packs. And now, in 2018, I've lost all my 6 packs. Why? Because I didn't work out. I was working out in 2008. So is it possible to work out in 2008 and expect the results if you have not been consistent reading in the years of 2008 and you have stopped reading? You have not trained your mind for so long. This is the reality. Try to understand why I'm saying all this. Maybe after a couple of months and years you realize reading is so important. So read it, all right? It will give you a lot of knowledge. So yeah, what I was trying to explain to you is, before I hit that document, YouTube channel, there are so many, I can refer you one. You can go through this channel. I would not name hundreds of others. You can go through this channel. This guy who gives a lot of education on so many other things. How many of you have heard about this channel? Beer Biceps. This guy lives in Mumbai. I'm not sure what his name is, I forgot. So he has done a lot of improvement in his personal life. What his name is?
I forgot his name. You're talking about the guy who's fair.
Specs, fair enough, yeah.
He gives motivational speeches and
Yes.
grooming
Yes.
speeches and everything.
So go through this channel if you happen to understand why growth, personal development and personal growth is important. He might give you detailed explanation about each of the topics, not just health, not just career, maybe how you should dress, how you should have a, what kind of books you should read, and how you should interact with your people, and what kind of circles, what kind of networks you create. Everything is being said. Everything is being said. So having said that, I'm going to switch on to my document. So selling strategy. So before we actually go through this, I'm going to go through few tips, helpful tips that you people would actually need. 12 tips to win customers over the phone. 12 tips to win customers over the phone. The first one is be confident. So before that, what it says is successful telemarketing calls for skills that cover countless aspects of communication. Apart from being good at interpretation, you need to be a shrewd marketer. At the same time, you should carry the weight of your brand. Today, thousands of companies all over the globe are outsourcing their outbound answering service to experts. Convincing potential customers over the phone may not be as simple as you thought. Convincing potential customers over the phone may not be as simple as you thought. You have a number of competitors offering the same product. As a rule of thumb, a telemarketer has to convey the USP of their brand. What's USP? Unique selling point. So when I ask you what is the unique selling point of this product, can anyone tell me what's the unique selling point of this product? No, not you. Tell from the crowd.
Follower service.
Sorry?
Follower service.
Good. And?
Emotion.
Okay. You can connect.
Geofence.
Yes. So many other things are there. Fall alert and immediately connecting to response services when you do not have the access to your cell phones. And so this is what is the USP of the product. So USP of the brand to the customer. However, the key problem with most unsuccessful telemarketing campaign is that agents are unable to get their message across to the customers in the right way. Unable to get their message across to the customers in the right way. I just told you. You may have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it, that's going to be the worst product that you have. If you do not know how to sell it. So you should know how to comprehend, you should know how to put the message across through the call. You're not meeting these customers, by the way, you're not meeting these customers by going and knocking their doorsteps. Are you doing that? You're not doing that. So your customers are right in front of your computer. You've got to think that way. The voice that you are conveying over the phone, professional voice, unprofessional voice, tone that is energetic or lousy or being lazy, everything. Customers will create an image of yours that how Jason sounds like, how Peter sounds like, how Matthew sounds like, all your last names. How you sound like, they create an image of yours in their mind. So it's very important for you to understand how you're putting your message across, but with the right perspective and the right tone of your voice. Here you will come across certain outbound sales tips that will bolster your telemarketing efforts. So the first one is be confident. Yeah, it's very difficult to be confident all the time, and it's very difficult to be confident, but if you have the right knowledge of your product, of your service, and the right communication skills. Bhaskar Jyoti, are you listening?
Yes, I'm listening.
You're attentive, right?
Yes, yes.
I don't see you being looking at this side and you're like looking somewhere else.
No,
Please pay attention to all the details, guys. It's not very, a session that happens every now and then.
How many of you guys are here from sales team? So it's like 6, right? And almost all you guys are experienced. All are experienced, right? Anyone who's a fresher here in sales team? All you guys are experienced, right? See, guys, these 12 points, you might feel that I know it all. Trust me, you might feel that I know it all, right? And you might feel that you've got your own way and you don't need this. You might feel, and if you're not feeling it, that means you're lying. Who's not feeling it? Who's not feeling it? You all feel that this is something which is needed for you. Everyone feels.
yes, sir.
Right? Who does not feel that I don't need all this? Tanmay?
I need sir.
You need. Okay. See, if you guys feel that you really don't need all this, right, you can say that. Right? Trust me. If I would have been in your position, I would have said that, no, I don't need all this. I know it all. I've been in sales for 2-3 years, right? I know, and I've got my own way of selling, right? See, guys, understand, different products have a different USP, right? Correct? And you will always understand and put this in your mind. There's only one thing which is permanent in life. Only one thing. What does that say? Anyone can tell me what is permanent in life?
Change.
Change, right? So adapt to this change. I can see on your faces, you know what, like that you guys are, okay, something on sales. I know it. I'll get sales. You might learn something new as well. Maybe what you know is good, right? You know 99% of everything. 1% is still there. We all are learning. Take this in that way, right? And understand there also would be a lot of things which you might change in your technique which would help you, right? Pay attention. All. It's not only about the sales team. For all, pay attention. Right? Being confident is not only the duty of sales team. It's rather for all, even for me.
So, be confident. When I say be confident, when I ask you, are you confident? You'll say, yes, sir. Yes, I am confident. If you say so, that's good. You can say that one or two word, yes, I am confident. But behind confidence lies a lot of hard work, education, your knowledge, your information, and not the fake information, the right information, not the half information, full information. Half information or half knowledge can be dangerous, right? If you have shared some information that's not complete, do not share that information at all. Do not. So it could be leading to a very big disasters and consequences can be there. If you are sharing some information that you are not sure of, if you feel that confidence is coming with that half information, that's faking confidence. Of course, at some point of time, that faking confidence works out when you are speaking to a customer, but not all the time. Not all the time. The customer says, where are you based out of? You say, I'm based in Bradford, or I'm in Gloucester Street. All right, what's the weather like? You're not sure what's the weather like. You've never been there, right? Are you getting me now?
Yes.
So you got to be confident in certain ways, not the opposite. So this is what it says. I'm going to read this out. Whether you are dealing with inbound calls or outbound ones, remain confident. Customers can identify the authenticity of the brand by observing the agent's tone. This is what I'm trying to say. Can identify the authenticity of the brand by observing the agent's tone. Now, when I speak to so many clients and so many people out there who are our clients and who are bank people and who are, so many other important members, my tone immediately changes to a professional one. Like, I am a normal person out of my office, right? I have my friends, right? I'm going to speak to them not this way. I'm like, are you mad or what? Are you crazy or what? Why are you speaking this way? My friends hear me out this way. But I'm going to speak the same way, the way I'm explaining it to you, in a professional way, in a professional method of explaining it the right way, and maybe a detailed information has to be shared. So here is what the tone will make a lot of difference when you are approaching customers and your tone is lousy enough. And not just the tone, by the way, your body language. You are sitting in an office in the 14th floor, so your body language has to be like an office, right? You're not lying in a bed, not lying in a sofa. You have a seat, you have a computer, you can pay attention to the detail right in front of you. But even if after all these are provided to you, you are lousy in case. If you are just sitting in the chair and you're like, your leg is on the other chair, and you are like, I don't care, my manager is not there, and that tone will immediately come in your voice, in your phone, and that's when the customers would identify you that you are a fake person, calling from a fake company and giving out fake information, no matter what you're saying. So that amount of effort that you have to put in that call, I'm sure you people speak to your girlfriends and boyfriends, right? Right? Do you speak without effort, or do you speak without the proper tone, or like rudely? You speak properly, right? They have your attention, you have theirs. So you cannot just randomly, lousily, you can speak whatever you feel like just to make sure that you're speaking, just to pretend that you're doing the job. Like, see, we understand everything, right? So we are speaking on the call, it's getting recorded. Your body language could be seen in the office. Everything matters a lot. So make sure that your tone, your body language is all in the right way, in the work culture that it has to be. So use a script if necessary. Being hesitant not only creates a poor impression of an agent, but also the brand they are representing. So Dr. Alert, as I said, we are just getting started. Past 3 months, we have created somewhere around 65 customers. There's an example that's set right away today. There was a customer called, what was the name of the customer again?
The name of the customer is Arthur Holland, and basically we had provided the service to Arthur Holland and he believed in the service. So later on he informed the same to his wife that it's a very good facility which can be used at the later stage of their life as they are growing old. So yes, the customer's daughter contacted us in our helpline number and they preferred a second device for her mother. So they believed in this product in this way because we have conveyed our message in such a way that they have trusted us and our brand and the facility. So that's what we have got as a sale for the second person.
So did you hear what exactly happened? The sale made the right way could lead to another sale because it was preferred and referred by someone or the other in the circle. Maybe it may be a daughter, may it be a neighborhood, may it be someone in the network that they have. So the kind of product that you're selling is going to be out there in the society. They are wearing it like this, and they're going in and around the Covent Garden, or there's a London Eye, and they are going in like, I'm wearing this, and it's making me protected. I'm staying protected all the time. And this other lady, oh my dear, where did you buy it from? I'm like, I bought it from doctor. Okay, give me the phone number. I'm like, we have a sale. That's what happened. So, anyways, to get your attention, I have to act like this. Use a script if necessary, but make sure now not to sound weak or completely artificial. Now, when I say artificial, IVR are artificial, robots are artificial. When you have a script in front of you, I can see a lot of scripts over there. Do not call script and DMV script on your computers. You will have the script all the time. That's good. That's good for your references. But you cannot be scripted, can you? Like I am not speaking by looking at something. Half the time I am speaking by my own, and half the time I'm looking and reading things out. But to comprehend, I'm speaking in my own terms, in my own language, right? So if I sound scripted all the time, and I say like, I know everything, but I was like, I was reading this, I was looking at this. So you would feel like, this guy doesn't know how to speak, or he's like scripted, and he's like, he doesn't know everything. He doesn't know anything at all. He's reading out. I mean, anybody could read it out. Anybody could read it out, right? But what different would it be, would it make you as an individual if you are reading things on the phone? It would sound scripted, of course. We have a section where you have to actually read, and that's a mandate, that's called verbatim, that you have to read. That's a banking clause. You are making this payment to this company, this is the amount, this is the date, and this is what it would reflect on your statement. That's separate. But when you are building a relationship on a phone with a customer, you cannot be scripted, can you? You cannot be scripted. So that's why it's mentioned over here that do not sound weak or do not sound artificial. Maintain a natural tone, like a human. One of the most common problems with telemarketers is that they do not sound natural. It may take time to learn about the product features and get used to the script, but speaking in a natural tone indicates you can answer the queries of the customers with ease. With ease. If you have been rushing towards, speaking and rushing throughout your entire script, and you're speaking, and always Indians have a high rate of speech as compared to Britishers or Australians or Americans. So they have a high rate of speech. In 1 minute, we speak almost around 220 to 240 words, whereas they have comparatively very low, maybe 160 to 180 words. When you're speaking, there's the same thing over the phone. Maybe I'm able to speak and you're able to grab because you can see me. I stop sometimes, you can see me, you can listen to every word. Clarity, pronunciation. I'm being precise to every word. But you speak over the phone, your message gets delivered, and you're speaking too faster, it gets delivered the wrong way. It gets overheard, it doesn't get heard at all, your phone lines do not give the clarity, and so many of the noises at the back end. Are you getting me? No matter where you work, there will be noise, there will be complications, technical faults, customers having hearing impairment. Is it that let's say all these factors are accurate. You have the best of technology, you take this entire space just to speak to one customer, and you are having this amount of area that you have in your bay. You have best technology, you have everything is best, but the customer does not hear you properly because he has hearing impairments and he does not hear properly. And when you rush, these are elderly people, and that too they are far away and they cannot hear you. So if you're speaking too fast, not stopping by, not asking them, not understanding whether they are understanding each and every word, you're going to waste a lot of time. Like, I'm really worried about wasting a lot of time, personally and professionally too. I cannot waste time. You cannot waste time investing that 20 long minutes in that customer who did not even understand a thing. Getting me, guys? So, often telemarketers take up too much time to answer genuine questions. Now hear me out, right? they ask you a question, where are you based at? And you are like, just hold on, okay? What do I say? What do I say? Now, in this slight difference of 3, 5, 10, 15 seconds, customer figured out everything, that if you can't answer a thing about where you exactly are at right now or where you based out of, you are trying to sell me a product of health? Question mark. But, okay, it's your experienced shoppers. Refer to the word experienced shoppers, which are the ones who have already purchased everything on the phone or anything on the phone for the past couple of years. And you're not calling someone who is going to buy it for the first time. You're going to sell it to someone who has been buying it for the rest of their lives. And they are, by the way, 80, 85 years old, and in the past they have been buying it not just over the phone, even window shopping, going to malls and so many stuff. So they know how to pretend to avoid you. They know how to prevent from getting sold. So they sold you, it's not the other way around. You didn't sell them. Forget about the real sale. You didn't even convey the right message. You didn't even say the right words. You didn't even have the right tone. They sold you, they hung up. Right? So experienced shoppers understand that you're either making up a story or reading from a script, which turns them off. So don't make up a story that you are just building it every sentence and every word. Like I can make up a story because I can think about it. I can have that rate of speech matched up to the story, and I can say that this is the real story. Even if I'm making it in my mind, I can tell you this is the real story and you'll believe me. You know why? Because I'm backed up with that amount of data inside my mind. Say it in the right way, people will believe you. Say it in the right way, people will believe you, right? So professionals offering outbound call center services always maintain a human tone and never sound robotic. Never sound robotic, all right? You cannot sound robotic, they would avoid your call. Listen to your customers often, like that's a feedback quality. That's a feedback that I get from the quality department, that they are not listening to the customers. They are speaking and speaking and speaking, they are not listening. Like this is time and again that I've repeated, and you get a feedback from your quality department that you are speaking too fast and you are not listening on top of that. So when you hear this term, listen to your customers, you're actually supposed to listen to your customers with patience. What did they exactly say? Why are they saying this? And just not listen to speak, listen to understand, by the way. When you've just heard that entire conversation and like, but sir, wait sir, hold on sir, that's not going to last. Your conversation is not going to last. You got to hold up to the person, because you have to be patient enough. They listen to you. They had heard your entire crap of your selling, and they are listening to you. They did not interrupt you. You got to give that time to them to speak up. If they are not speaking up, conversation is going to be two-way. It's not one way. You're not going to do a monologue. You're doing a dialogue. It's a both-way conversation, right? So telemarketers often put forward their own opinions before customers ask relevant questions. The problem with these agents is they listen less to the issues customers face and are more interested in selling the product. Now let me explain you, right? In a world of selling over the phone or telemarketing over the phone, when you have a very strong product, but you have been doing this, agents are listening less into the issues and face and are more interested in selling the product. The very first moment, the first 5 minutes of your conversation, you're actually trying to sell this. They are like, I told you, this is the best product, right? This could be the best product. You have opened up the call, you sounded like a salesperson. Do you think so they're going to hear you out? For me, every prospect that you're going to get, even if it's in a survey or in a sale, every one is a prospect. If not the customer, it's a prospect. Now these prospects gets converted into customers. But if you have been forcing them right from the very beginning, sounding like a salesperson, sounding like you're going to push them, you're going to sell them this product, they're going to avoid you at all costs. They're not going to be with you for more than 5 minutes. Or they're going to waste your time. You see, a lot of customers would waste your time because they have time. They have that amount of time. You don't have that time. They have that amount of time. This creates the impression of a hard sell policy, which does not leave a favorable impression with your customers. So any hard sales that you make, any sales that's being pushed too much, we avoid that. just to avoid confrontation and just avoid any issues that the customers might arise later. That you sold me, you pushed me, you cold called me. Like all the time, customers like, you called me, you cold called me. Where did you get my phone number from in the first place? Now all this, all this, you must have sold them, all right? They will all dig up all the past of your conversation, like, where do you get my phone number? The moment you go off track, they're going to start asking stupid questions because you went off the track. You did not follow that guideline of remaining in tune with the customer, and you missed out something, and you said something, and you you became nervous, or you didn't have the adequate information about your product and services. They're going to avoid you the moment they hear you out that this was I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this. So the moment they hear that nervousness, that lack of information that you have about your own product, about your own services that you're working for, your own organization, they're going to avoid you the moment they hear that you are less of confidence, and they're going to hang up on you. So this creates an impression, a hard sell policy, which does not leave favorable impression with your customers. The ideal approach is listening to the customer's opinion and then putting forward the benefits of your customer. Present your product to the customer, listen to what they say, and then back up with your intention with the product attribute. So listen to what they are saying. Maybe you're speaking to a completely wrong person. They do not need this at all. Like I said, they do not need this at all. You try to create an urgency. Despite all of that, you did not meet the expectation. They did not felt like this is what I would require, or they are not financially stable, or they are not financially strong enough to go ahead with the pricing that our company has structured, right? So think about it that way, that you might not be speaking to the right person. The right party contact is something that we use, right? We use the right party contact. You have to speak to the right person. Maybe you're speaking, but he's not the decision maker. This happens all the time, guys. You're speaking to someone who is not the decision maker, who is not the financial decision maker, who is not the one who is going to take all these decisions of purchasing something online or on the phone. I have my husband, my wife, I've got to speak to my wife, and I've got to speak to my dad and mom, and all that story that they come from. So do not assume. So we have a habit of assuming a lot of things. This customer says somebody is a decision maker, and you're like, you just hang up. Can you do that? Now again, you started assuming a lot of things. We have the habit of assuming, but it's going to be difficult for you in the job, because if you assume a lot of things right in the very first stage, in the very first place, you're going to lose it, not them. You have called them. They said something like, but dear, I'm not the decision maker, but you can explain me. Now you are in a dilemma, whether should I explain that person or not, right? Like, I'm not the decision maker, but you can explain me. What would you do at this instance? Would you explain? Or would you? Good. You should explain. They might just change their perspective of, oh, I need this. I would speak to my financial decision maker and I would get this. There are a lot of times that has happened with us. So many people, so many customers, they are like, I'm not the decision maker. I'm not the sole, owner of this thing, but you can explain me. I can do this. I can discuss. So, telemarketing is often complete customer sentence for them in a way that leads to a different meaning. Has it happened? Do you do that? Telemarketing is often complete customer sentence for them in a way that leads to a different meaning. So they started saying something, and at the moment they wanted to convey a complete message to you, you interrupted and you continued their sentence, and that landed into a completely different meaning altogether. They wanted to say something like this. I'm going to give you an example. I'm just trying to make it out right away, okay? On my past experience, I have felt that. But my son is what the old lady said, and I felt like, but my son is the decision maker. What she was trying to say is, but my son is out of the country. Call me on that day. He will make the payment. Example is what she was supposed to say, and she just said the first three words, the first three lines, or first one line, and said, but my son is, and you're like, oh, I understand your son is a decision maker, and blah blah blah. Hang up. Would you do that? Would you start assuming everything that the customer is going to say you? Would you do that? Would you assume what I'm going to say in the next line? Simple as that. You cannot assume everything by yourself. This hurts the rapport between the customers and the agent. They get offended, by the way. When you continue their sentence and you did not let them speak, it offends me a lot. I receive a lot of telemarketing calls in my phone. Somebody's trying to sell me this shares and demat account and bank people and sir, please come and visit this and that. I'm like, okay, all right. But then the moment I wanted to say something to them, like I'm on a meeting right now. Maybe it's the best thing that they have called me about this product that they wanted to inform me about. But they called me in the wrong time, right? They called me in the wrong time. I'm like, listen, ma'am, you have called me in the wrong time. But sir, let me just complete. This is something very important. I'm like, you know what? Hang up. Hang up right now and put my number in DNC. So I cannot take all that all the time. Can the customers take it all the time? Can you take it all the time? Somebody calls me at 11 in the midnight, and they try to tell you, you know what, sir, ma'am, I've got the best Vodafone plan in the world. You would need this data, you would need this minutes and SMS, and you're like exhausted. Throughout the day, you struggle to get this entire job done, and you know exhausted, and somebody calls you. I mean, Vodafone থেকে call করছি, আপনাকে সামনে জড়ায়। And would you be comfortable receiving that kind of call? Think about that. Think about you put yourself in the customer's shoes and think about how you are going to behave if you do that, if somebody does that to you. Remember, every customer is unique and their experiences in using a particular product may not be similar to the other people. Listen to what they were saying and try to not interrupt their speech. It degrades your image as a company's agent, and the customer may disconnect the call. That happens most of the time. Make your conversation interesting. A lot of you people make it interesting. That's good. But a lot of you people do not care about making it interesting. So here is what it says. Quality calls sell goods. Quality calls sell goods. If it's not of quality, the conversation is not of quality, you say the same thing again and again on every call to a customer who's like hundreds of other companies in Calcutta and thousands of other companies in the entire India, and somebody from Philippines and somebody from US and somebody from UK are calling that one individual over there, and you are saying the same goddamn thing. Like, how are they going to be interested about your call and your product and your services? So you got to make your conversation interesting. You should eliminate all sort of fillers from your calls. You understand fillers? When you are speaking, you are using this sir, okay, hold on. All these, or whatever you are saying, right? All these to fill out the word that you're not getting appropriate words, and you're filling out with all these fillers and cons. You're going to offend the customer. The customer is going to think it like he doesn't know a shit about what he's talking about, and I'm going to just avoid him. So whatever you are speaking, make sure that you're speaking slowly so that you get time to bring that right word. At the same point of time, you do not use these whatever the fillers and cons are, and you get time to fill those with the right words, not or ah. You getting me, guys? So they decrease the quality of calls. Instead, you should be you should use meaningful words that provide solid support to your logic. After your customer finishes off a sentence, you should think of what you can say that helps to create a favorable impression in their mind and comes up with your opinion accordingly. So by the time the customer finishes their conversation, you are prepared, all set. He asked me these questions, these are his FAQs. I'm going to say all of these. I'm going to be prepared with the rebuttals. I have some of the information in front of my computer. I'm going to make up and I'm going to present it this way. You getting me, guys? You got to be prepared before, as soon as they end the conversation, you got to be prepared with your answers. You cannot then say like, ma'am, just wait, I'm going to think, all right? Would you say that? Maintain the right position. Now this is what I was actually trying to say. You may have the right infrastructure, you may have everything that you've been provided with the organization, but your right position in the sense, you may ask what body position has to do with selling your products over the phone. The reason is because sitting up or standing during the conversation makes your voice clearer. Because sitting up and standing during the conversation. You know, when I was working in my previous company, my TL used to tell me, not me, to everyone as a whole, you're not getting sales, stand up and start taking calls. You know why? Because when they were seated, we all were seated, we were like lousy. It was late in the night or early in the morning and we were tired, we were not feeling like, in the so-called comfort zone and all these seats that you were having. And you're like, you know what? Stand up. Because when you're seated, all your, what do you call, bums or all your tashreefs are so relaxed that you don't feel like answering to the calls more seriously and more energetically. So all this enthusiasm will disappear when you're like lousy, and on top of which you are sitting in a cozy environment when you have a heater right beside you and the AC is chilled, outside it's humid weather. All these factors would matter. Maintain the right position. The reason is because sitting up or standing during the conversation makes your voice clearer. You will sound more confident when you maintain the right position of the body. When you sit in an inclined position or speak with your head down, your vocal cord cannot open up freely. This too prevents the voice from being clearly heard. Did you know all this biology of whether your head is inclined and then your body is in a wrong posture, it's going to affect your vocal cord? Did you know that? You weren't. See, there's a biology in this. Be prepared for objections. When you sell your products over the phone, you are bound to face objections. Customers, it's not never going to happen. All right, okay, hi dear, okay, all right, you got to sell me this, all right, tell me something about it, okay, I like this, sell me, this is your 100 pounds. Does that happen? Does that happen? That's going to be like you are in dreams, like that's in dreams that you're thinking about it, and you're sold in dreams. Customers will counter your ideas and you need to explain your point without being irritated. Telemarketers often hesitate in putting forward their argument in fear of inviting the mockery of customers. Now that's important. You avoid the customers, whatever the concerns that they have, you have the answer, but you're lousy enough to come up with, because you know that after that question, and then one more obligation will be coming in, and you're like, I have to. However, selling a product involves convincing skills along with the outbound call technique. So take time to explain how your brand stands apart from the other companies. See, at this point of time, you're selling something that they're going to continue with us, not just for a month, they're going to continue with us for the rest of the months. Maybe for the next 2, 3, 4 years. You're selling this, by the way, you're selling this, and the customers are paying for us, not just for one time, but even for the rest of the months. Depends upon them until when they need the service. So every month we are monitoring their health. They're going to pay us every month. Salespeople know this quite well. So they're going to pay us every month. So what you're going to say them right in the very beginning of the call, you're building the image of Dr. Alert, you're building the brand image, you're going to make sure that they have got the right message across when you've sold them the product. Because a lot of companies are there. It might, as I'm telling you all this, let me just bring more information in this at this point of time. Is maybe there are no companies in India who is trying to sell this product. Doesn't mean that there are no company in the world who is not selling it. In UK, there are like 20, 30 companies who are selling it.
Yes. And
And they are very popular, by the way. Like they're very, very popular. Very popular. So you're trying to penetrate the market and trying to create your own brand image by selling something to someone who has never heard about it. And plus, when we talk about this product, this is an advanced product that a lot of companies have not been selling right now. It's the old products like landline device. The last time I showed it to you guys. So please, in the training batch will be taken care by, where is Atri, please explain them what a landline looks like. So this is a mobile device. There's another form of device called a landline device. So not going back over there. So a lot of companies are doing the selling in UK and Australia and US, and they are all, you've heard about Philips? I'm sure you've heard about Philips. Philips also sell one of these products in US only, and they have about 65 lakh customers. That's quite a lot, right? So they have built that for over the past 2 or 3 decades, maybe 30 years. It took them 30 years. Telemarketers often hesitate in putting forward their argument in fear of inviting the mockery of customers. However, selling a product involves convincing skills along with the outbound calling technique. So take time to explain how your brand starts apart from the other companies. So maybe they said like, you know what, I have this product. You know what, I have Bay Alarm Medical. You know what, I have Lifeline Care. And you don't know what Lifeline Care and who Lifeline Care is. But it's better that you know your competitors before you jump into that market. So you got to know a lot of things, guys, in order to. So your research mode has to be on all the time when you are on the internet, not browsing the stupid stuffs on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, but some of the very, very important topics that could help you accelerate your career. Your career is important. No one is important other than your career. Nothing is important other than your career. I see a lot of people, they are busy with their relationship, they are busy with their personal life, they are busy and they don't even care about their career. Like career, what is that? I don't care about it. I'll care about it after 5 years. And you have no idea, in 5 years, one generation gap happens. So you will compete with the ones who are in class 10, 11 and 12, and you're going to compete that way. So don't do that, it's going to be difficult. Declutter your space. The area where an agent works has to be free from clutter. I explained this to Aniket, that when you people are sitting, you are cluttered. Like you are sitting just beside each other. You have a lot of space, guys. Even this less amount of people, you can sit freely. One seat beside, you can keep a gap. You can do that. All this matters. Your voice has to be heard clearly by the customers. And if you have a pack of people over here, all sitting this side and this side and this side and this side, and all people are shouting, then that's going to trouble your entire conversation. The object draws their attention and they are unable to focus on the call. Decluttering the area will make your approach more methodological and structured. You'll be able to make your arguments more effectively. Customer interaction is a key area to focus on while you are selling the products. Therefore, it makes sense to declutter the area for enhancing the quality of calls. Yes, please, anyone has any issues? I see someone just speak. I hope you're getting this point right. Develop a rapport. This is very important. As Clement was saying, did open-ended and close-ended questions. That's very important. When does rapport building happen?
When you
Not
listen to the customer.
Yeah. When you're not asking close-ended questions, but open-ended questions like, did you have your food? Could lead to a yes or a no. What did you have in your dinner or your supper or your lunch? Was it tasty? Or, you should go to this restaurant. You should go to that. So when you're building this rapport with the customer, they're going to understand, okay, there's a human, by the way, who's least concerned about the numbers or the scores or targets or whatsoever they have in their offices, but concerned about the human and the humor inside them. We all have humor, right? We call that sense of humor. And I hardly find that. On calls, I hardly find it. Like you would be sarcastic all over the time with your people, with your friends. Like, you'll be doing all this when your office break happens and like, that happens and this happened and this. So that humorous feeling would come right away, off call, not on call. So try to get that on call too. That's like fantastic when the customers are not offended, by the way. They are not getting offended. When you ask these questions like, you should go to this restaurant and they have a lovely dish out there, you should try this out. Or anything. Have you watched this movie? You know what, India? Have you been to India? It's incredible. You should be here. Anything. I mean, we have hundreds of other topics that you can discuss with the customers. Are you doing that? So get the humor in that conversation. That will build up your rapport with the customer. So enhanced communication skills come into play in the marketing process. You need to establish rapport and understanding with the customers before you go deeper into the deal. At the outset, it is necessary to take note of the problems customers have faced so you can convey the product attributes accordingly. It is also advisable to smile when you are conversing with the customers. Even though they can't see you, it retains a hearty human touch in the communication process. So while you are explaining anything, just make sure that you're not just explaining, you're also smiling on the call. I'm sure that that's not being seen by them that you are smiling, but that small giggle, that small thank you, Mr. John, that's a smile that they could figure out, okay, there's a person who appreciates. I appreciate, you appreciate, right? So that's what customers are thinking all the time. They're like, again, one boring old agent has called and there's something to be sold. They shouldn't have that.
Power words is what they lack.
Power of words.
Use more of power words, guys. Like, sounds good, that's great. Definitely, I'll suggest this. Right, words like this. And I can also listen to a lot of calls where you guys, tell me one thing, if I suddenly call you, right, what's your first answer to me? Would be, sir, actually, why are you late from break? A pause, then, sir, actually, the lift got stuck. Something like this. So these are what you do. The word selection of yours, your mind is thinking what to say, and you come up with a word like actually, basically, practically, right? Instead, use a word saying well. Replace it actually from well, right? But to however, moreover. These are all positive words. But customer would say, you know what? I don't. There are a lot of other products which I see similar to your product. Well, let me tell you. However, our product is much more better than. But is a negative word, right? More of positive words. You know, I'll tell you. Speak to the customer in this manner. But I would suggest to you this is. I would suggest you. What I'll suggest to you is that sounds good. More of power words. More of power words will help your conversation build, and that's where the repo would come into play, right? And speak slow. Very, very important. Speak slow, right? You see, you speak like this, right? This is the mouth, and we speak like this. Most of the Indians, the language is very fast, so we speak like this. So what happens is the rate of speech is very high. Open your mouth like this,
Correct.
and then when if you speak, you would articulate more. And when you would articulate more, then the sounds would be correct, and you don't have to repeat yourself. And if you don't have to repeat yourself, then what happens is the customer gets less irritated. You get less irritated. Why? Because you don't have to repeat yourself over and over again, just the way I am doing, opening my mouth and speaking. Right? Clear, right? Understand, guys.
Yeah, at
Rapport
least-
would only build.
Like these are default, like by default, and you're coming in the industry of BPO, and by default you're supposed to know all of these, because you said you're experienced, because you said you worked for several years. Are you getting me? You cannot now understand, you know, go through all the grammars and the pronunciation back to the school, and we cannot do all of that. And you cannot do that too. You've come here for a real job, and you've come here for real skills. Sales skills is what we can teach you to the most. But normally we are supposed to explain you about the products and its features and how it's said. That's all. Sales skills, a lot of people are hired with the sales skills. The sales people, they have been hired with the sales experience. That's why we have preferred them. We have preferred them and we have hired them, right? So recruitment done that on that basis. We cannot now go back to square one and start teaching you how the articulation happens and how you are supposed to speak. At this point of time, spending several years in the organization or even several months, you can still figure it out that how are you supposed to behave on a call, and what you're supposed to speak on a call, and how you're supposed to greet a customer. All this is by default, right? Watch your speech rate. Do I have to go again with this? I hope you understand what a speech rate is. I just explained you this, right? Use your customer's name. And a lot of time you are not habituated to use the customer's name. You say sir and ma'am too many times, and that's like cheesy. You know cheesy? That's cheesy. Now don't be cheesy, and don't sound too cheesy enough that the customers are like, oof. And that's, by the way, that's not the culture. Maybe it's here. The culture might be here. You cannot say like I have a person whose age is 50 plus and he's in the army. His name is Mr. Arjun Singh Rathore. All right. I'm just giving you the example. And and he is a brigadier. All right. He was a brigadier. And I have to address him, sir. I have to, not just by his profession, but by the age as well in India. But what happens in abroad, you cannot all the time address it like sir all the time. You can do it once or twice in a while, but it's better you address it by the first name. Mr. John. Mr. John. They don't know what age you are exactly. Do they know you by your age? They know you by your name, your last name. They don't know you by what age you are, what caste you belong, what religion you belong. They don't know you by that. So even if you have a voice that's articulated in such a way that you sound like a 35, you sound like a 45. Like if I'm speaking and if I speak on a phone, nobody can tell me like you are a 27, 28-year-old person. You are professional. You sound like a 45-year-old. And a lot of people have said you sound like you are way too professional because you're speaking those words that are actually being spoken out by some corporate people. I'm like, yes, that's what our job is all about. So we have to speak it that way. So speaking, first you're selling your voice, then you're selling the product. First you sell yourself, your voice, and then your product. So use your customer's name. As I said, you have to use some of the names that they have, the first name, not the last name. You can use it, but better what it says. Let's go through the paragraph. One of the most effective ways to grab the attention of your customer is to call them by their names. Use their names at least 3 times during the conversation. This will generate more interest on their end. Communication expert focus on the importance of using names during conversation. As it intensifies the bond between the two peoples, using names also makes your customer feel valued. Interpersonal communication is vital in telesales, so it is necessary to use the name of the customer. So this is why it's important. Repeat your customer's word. When a customer speaks of a certain problem, you need to compliment or validate the opinion to establish a bond. Even if their opinion differs from what you say, first you need to recognize it before coming up with your own explanation. So a lot of times this might happen. You may have a different opinion, right? It should not be a debate again on a call. They said that, you know what, Indians are all scammers. That's their opinion. Would you say like, shut the fuck up? You cannot say that, right? Can you say that on a call? Your quality will, restrict you from there. And whatever you are going to say, you cannot have a debate or you cannot get offended. That's what is being taught to the people in the industry. So you cannot get offended, you cannot go and start quarreling in that call. Even if their opinion differs from what you say, first you need to recognize it before coming up with your own explanation. However, make sure not to use this strategy as it may come quite irritating, as I said. As a marketer, it is necessary for you to assess your customers' preferences. Ask questions about their expectations, problems, and other aspects that can help you put your product forward in an effective way. The customers love to interact with an agent showing concerns of their interest. So a lot of time customers are having some personal issues. You cannot sell them right away. Some issues that you cannot go ahead and immediately crack that sale. Some concerns that they cannot listen to you right there. They need to be set as a different schedule and appointment. You cannot struggle to have a conversation right there and build that conversation. That's not going to happen. So you got to listen to your customers. Repeat your customers' words. This is done, right?
That point's done.
Okay, these are the 12 points. So I hope these were somehow a lesson to be understood. Some of the important topics that we've covered is these are the 12 important tips. We felt like this is something we should share. Try to go through the internet again if you feel like you should go through some of the other important tips. There are several others, but these are the important ones that we felt like highlighting it. So any questions again? Any questions that you people have as of now? Again, the question answers around that you should not, what do I do with the customers? You can have that kind of questions. If the customers have certain queries and they start getting into an offensive mode and they start, I have heard this. A lot of people complain, so but the customer abused me. What am I supposed to do? I mean, you cannot abuse back. Come on, that's known. You cannot abuse back. What they would do is they simply complain on your company's name and they will send a letter. And by the way, the laws are very strict in UK and US and Australia. You have no idea what's the kind of fine that they can impose on organizations like us. You have no idea. Any idea on what happens if there is a complaint made on basis of telemarketing and DNC on a call that's not supposed to be made to a DNC number? That's what it leads to. Any idea? Clement, please tell them what happens after the complaint has been raised by TPS or ACMA.
You know what? What is it?
As to that for tech support, there was a guy who used to abuse a lot. So our company used to face all the problem. Our company has to pay a big amount to them.
So they sued the company, right? So what is the amount being paid? Do you have any idea?
No, but it was a huge amount, a handsome amount it was. And they they charge a lot, and they warn the organization as well. So you cannot sell anything like that. So
Did you
this
get
what
it?
happens.
Thank you. Did you get it? Now, if any of these government bodies in UK and Australia happens to come across a lot of complaints that were abusive, that were, not obeying the laws of that country, they're going to send a letter. And then finally, we have not heard about that. They have not heard about the letters, and we did not respond. They're going to impose a penalty of $5 million, $1 million, $50,000, $100,000, and that in Indian rupees is the amount of. I don't know how to compare that, but it's going to be very difficult for companies to sustain after that, or even exist. So that's something which is very important for you to understand. Abusing on a call you may not be doing it, but abusing in not just the abusive manner, but even by offending customers. You're a feminist. You said someone to the customer. You know what? That was a chauvinist statement, and you have been you are a Democrat or you're a Republican, and you said something that hampered their political view that they had. You said something to Queen Elizabeth, and then you see what happens after that. Selling strategy, we would be jumping into understand the need. This is what we were discussing, but then we went for a break. So in order to be proactive in helping customers make decisions about what personal emergency response system is they need, it's important to know what qualifying questions to ask and how to use the information gathered. Use visual cues to interpret your customers' potential needs and ask questions that will help them make informed decisions. Here are some questions. So do you live alone? All these questions were there in the surveys. Okay. So training guys, how many are there in the training batch? You're supposed to leave. It's because it's 8. You are supposed to leave, right? You can leave. You can leave. We will continue with the training now for the next 30 minutes or something. And we'll complete the sales because it's sales training important, very important, and that has to be concluded. And if we continue this tomorrow or Monday, it's going to be like would benefit your customer. You should know whom to sell what. Basically, geofencing is for dementia customers. People with lifestyle who's almost all the time outside and they're driving, for them it could be overspeed. No motion, it's for one of the customers, Mr. Morgan, David Morgan.
DJ Morgan.
Yeah. There's a customer that you should go through it next time probably. In the next call we can go through it when we are discussing. Because on a Monday we can do that on a Monday. We'll go through the product features and its to whom to sell what activation should be done for what kind of customers. We are going to play that box file. Can you remind that?
Yes.
We are going to play that customer had a very strong concern on one of the following. He said, if I am not falling down from my bed or my chair, or while I'm walking I didn't fell down, and somehow I'm sitting on my chair and I went unconscious. How would you know? How would you know? How would you be notified? Is the biggest concern that they had. Ridhan was quite prepared with the answers because he had full knowledge about his product and its features. So he gave the right answer the right way, the right time. Had it been if he was not aware, he would have been questioned on his legalities, on his legitimacy, that are you even calling from a genuine company? So because he said, yes, we have that, but if he didn't know how that worked, it was a trouble conversation if he didn't know how that worked. But he explained really well. We are going to play that box file the next time. That was, what was that called? No motion now.
Yes, sir.
No motion now. So we are going to explain the situation the next time, not now. Okay. Explain the features of the system that, as I said, right, in order to, explain the feature the right way, who requires what kind of feature, you've got to explain the proper method of activation and who requires what feature and how this feature would be beneficial for them. This is what it means. And once you have made the best recommendation to the customer that you should go along with this product, you should go with these many features, then you can complete that as a sale. Now let's see how sales looks like. The final page or the second last, final page. Complete the sale. At this point, it's in your best interest and the customer's best interest to ask for the sale. Create a sense of urgency to place the order by asking if you can place the order today. Now, a lot of times you have a situation that you have created, that you have explained everything. Now that you don't know what to speak, and then you start immediately getting into the. So in order to go ahead with the registration or to activate, could you please be ready with your debit card details and credit card details and direct debit, blah blah blah. Instead, can you please take a note on these 2 or 3 lines? It may sound immediate selling when you're doing that. It may sound you have a lot of patience, that you're not rushing. You're not doing once. The sale is not being done only once. Just to remind you, they are paying every month for the services that they are rendering from us. More likely, if you have closed the sale the wrong way, immediately, with a lot of excitement, and then you missed out on something, they are going to trouble you by calling you back. You know what? I want my money back. And you don't want to do the sale. You don't want to do that sale. So anyone who's purchasing that product has a lot of process that we follow after the sale is made. There's a quality After that entire thing is done, there is a person who is taking care of configuring the device in UK, physically testing the device, SIM cards being tested, data are being fetched over there, customers' preferences, the number 1, 2 and 3, all the emergency numbers are being feed over there. Then it goes for packing, shipment, and then it goes for delivery. Now at the point of delivery, when the customer denies to accept the product, like, you know what, I was sold, I was misled, I was missold, you take this product back. And they are not our people who are going to take the product, it's the Royal Mail Express or the delivery people who are, you know, being hired for courier services. When Flipkart sends you the product, it's not Flipkart who is delivering it, right? It's the third party, maybe e-card or somebody acquired by Flipkart, but basically it's the third party who is going to do that work for us, and it's not good when they have to take the returns back. It's not good for us. There's a cost involved over there. Right? So we don't want that amount of trouble to be taken by the people over there. Okay, create a sense of urgency to place the order by asking if you can place the order today. So use a hard close to get a sale like, I know this service is an excellent option for you. I can have this order processed for you today so that the unit is shipped to you as quickly as possible. So you can say something like this, you know. So this is what is best for you. I believe this is what something which is recommended for you and which you should go ahead with. Let me just confirm the entire information, and this is where the product will be shipped for you. We can complete the entire registration process, and we can ship the order as quickly as possible. It takes hardly 24 to 48 hours, you can say that, whatever the timeline is. Normally we do it within 4 to 5 days or 6 days. Now we have started decreasing that more, and our intention is to decrease it to 2 to 3 days. Whatever the time we take internally of testing and processing the product, and then it goes to the shipment company who is taking care, it takes another 24 to 48 to 72 hours, depends. If they have asked for a speed post, something like, you know, which can get delivered in the next 24 to 48 hours, we can set up that. In case if they said no, it's okay, I can receive that in the next 10 to 15 days as well, that's completely fine for us. So there's an added cost for all these speed delivery and the faster processing of goods. Leave nothing to speculation. When asking for a sale, refer to your recommendation. And at the last of the call, at the very end of the call, you're supposed to thank your customer for the sale. Very important. When your sale is done, at the last line, you're supposed to appreciate the patience that the customer had with you, listening to all your explanation. That takes a lot of patience. I appreciate your patience, by the way. You're listening to all my training sessions. You may not have that patience, but somehow you've been listening to this entire 2.5 hours of conversation. But it's the customers, when they are giving that amount of time to you, they are like, I've given enough time to you, and if you do not say that thank you, they are like, that's rude. That's rude. So very important. Thank you for your time and patience. Thank you for choosing Dr. Alert. Branding is very important. When you say Dr. Alert, Dr. Alert, Dr. Alert, Dr. Alert 5 to 6 times or several times in the entire call, they're going to have an impression there's a company called Dr. Alert. When you say Medical Alert, they do not know who is that company, who that company is. You just said Medical Alert. Are you getting me now, guys?
Yes, sir.
Medical Alert is a product. Dr. Alert is a brand, is who you're representing. So there are many competitors for customers to choose from when selecting a personal emergency response system. Make your time with your customer stand out from the rest. Ensure time spent with them is memorable in a positive way. Not in a very only professional way, also positive. Maybe something that could remind them the next time, as I said, when they are being called by, immediately in the next 48 hours, somebody from here is calling. You were confirmed with this order, we are going to process the order, we are going to confirm some of the information, that's your shipping address. You live at 1 Baker Street, London, and this is where your residence is. So whatever is being confirmed, it's being confirmed in the next 24 to 48 hours. And if you have rudely ended the entire conversation, that's not going to be a healthy conversation, and that's not going to be a good way to end the entire call. So in a positive way, try to make sure that you are going to do this in a positive way. And that's when the sale happens, right? Your entire effort will give you a sale. How does that sound like? When a sale happens, it sounds like, oh my God, I got a sale. Wow, that's an awesome feeling. Really, it is an awesome feeling. I know that feeling. I have been through that entire harsh process of understanding the mindset of a customer. That's why I'm sharing my experiences with the best of my efforts. So I could explain you. It's not possible to give that 10 years of experience all at one shot. It's not going to be possible. But yes, something that should come from your end as well is a hard work that to learn. You got to accept change, new things that you should adapt to it, because in the world, in this technology-based world, you're not going to suffer. You're not going to be a winner all the time. You got to accept that change, that you have to do something or the other to go ahead and keep things, working in your life. So when we started, it was completely different. Now what we're doing completely different. We are proud now of what we are doing, and we would be proud with our entire work that we will be contributing towards somehow or the other towards the welfare of the society. Maybe this is launched in UK right now. We could do it in India too. Come on, guys. This is something which you should be proud about when our organization does well in the numbers game, and we start receiving more of compliments and more of testimonials from customers' feedback. It's the customer's feedback, by the way. It's something. Imagine a customer really had an emergency. Really, I mean, real emergency. His house was burning down because of whatsoever. He fell down and he was in pain, and he just called, I'm in pain, I cannot stand up, there's no one in my room, there's no one in my house, I cannot even call anyone, there's no one in my neighbor. Can you help me? So we helped them. The next day, in the newspaper, doctor alert. How do you feel? It was a sale of one of yours. It was a survey of one of yours. In the daily statement or telegraph.co.uk, which you can proudly show it to your parents, even by accessing the internet online, switching on to telegraph.co.uk, you can show them, you know what, this is the company I work for, and this is what my sale was and my survey was, and that's how it looks like. A vision can be made into a reality. It's all one thought, and we don't need all people at the same time. It's one thought backed up by one idea, backed up by one person, backed up by several people who have the right intention to get together as a team, join hands, and start working. So do you feel that you have learned something today, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next day, when we switch back on Monday, we are going to discuss about the product features, especially with the salespeople, not with the survey guys, because this is something which you need to in detail understand. That has a little technology project. Will take care of that on Monday, and he will explain you about that. So, so far so good. I believe we have done the sales session, and something that you could take today from the entire session, not just the sales, even the tips that we discussed and what Clement discussed about the survey and why it's important to have open-ended questions and how important the voice tone is. It's all important, guys. To give you that feeling. I started as a fresher in the industry, by the way. I started as a fresher. For your real motivation, you can think about when he can do it, anybody can do it. I never knew that I was going to be one of the company's owner. I never knew that, by the way. But somehow we made it. Somehow we had that vision. We made it. It was a very tough journey, of course. But yes, whatever struggles we have gone through so far, we are sure about one thing, that we are going to make it big. Immediately or at some point of time, we would be making it big. Maybe not immediately, but at some point of time. But yes, we are going to make it big. And with this idea, I am so confident, so damn confident that we are going to make it big. But it takes a lot of hard work, guys. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of hard work, courage, determination, dedication throughout years and years of dedication. Not just one day's dedication, not just 2 days dedication. So that's what your organization would be doing it. All right, guys. So I hope you people appreciated the entire training materials that we discussed today. Anything that you have it as a feedback, any questions that you have it as a feedback. The last thing that we want to know is about the FAQs. Any questions that you have in mind?
That sounds good, I guess.
Ridan, Aniket, any questions that you have in mind?
I think that's such.
Guys over there, we're going to see. It's not possible to come up with questions all the time right now when I'm asking you, but if you would have questions, because as he asked you, what amount of people have understood 100% and what amount of people understood 50, 30, 20, whatever percentage you understood. So it's a time-taking process. Be patient enough and be a learner. Do not deny the fact that you are still learning. You are a learner. I am a learner. Everyone in this world is a learner. They learn something or the other from someone or from some sources. So think about that and start working on your future by working today. Change is in your hands, not in anybody's hands. No matter how hard we try to train you guys, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for you to understand if you do not know the basics. If you do not know the basics. Any questions at the last moment? Any questions? The final thing that we can ask you is about any confusion that you had in understanding. Sure. So you can go for your break maybe. Is that a break? We should give a break, huh?